talking about government's role in a free society, you mentioned some of the market failures, and I think that you may have just passed over one that is of utmost importance, and that is of poverty. And in prefacing my question, I'd like to refer to what President Kennedy said, that if a free society cannot help the many who are poor, it cannot save the few who are rich. And to say that, well, we are a government of the people, and when there is a large sector of the people who are hurting, perhaps it is the responsibility of this government of the people to help out.
Well,
my question is regarding how free are the poor, how free are the unemployed, and how free are those people who are disadvantaged? Right. And so in reference to that, what is government's role?
Sure. First of all, the government doesn't have any responsibility. People have responsibility. This building doesn't have responsibility. You and I have responsibility. People have responsibility. Second, the question is, how can we as people exercise our responsibility toward our fellow man most effectively? That's the problem. So far as poverty is concerned, there has never in history been a more effective machine for eliminating poverty than the free enterprise system and the free market. The period in which you had the greatest improvement in the lot of the ordinary man was the period of the 19th and early 20th century. Those of us in this room are the heirs of that. We benefited from the way in which our parents and our grandparents were able to come here. And by virtue of the freedom that was offered to them, were able to make a better life for themselves and them and us. But next, if you look at the real problems of poverty and denial of freedom to people in this country, almost every single one of them is a result of government action and would be eliminated if you eliminated the bad government failures. Let me be precise and specific. We have constructed a governmental welfare scheme which has been a machine for producing poor people. We have induced people to come under control of welfare. I'm not blaming the people, don't misunderstand me. It's our fault for constructing so perverse and so ill-shaped a monster as a whole set of welfare programs we have under which we encourage people, families to break up, we encourage people to move from one part of the country and come to another, under which we have, in effect, made many people poor. And yet, when all this is said and done, have I ever been where?
Or poor.
I have, sir. Of course, more so than most of the people in this room. How many of you have worked a 12-hour day and gotten paid 78 cents? But let me go back to but you know that's wholly irrelevant. Is there one of you who is going to say that you don't want a doctor to treat you for cancer unless he himself has had cancer? I could go down the line. But when all is said and done, while there are people in this country who are worse off than other people, by and large, even the poorest people in this country are relatively well off compared to the conditions in many other countries in the world.
Saying that it was their fault for making such a bad social safety net, and but they're not going to do the plan that the little guy in blue shirt said, because then that would just be taking all the rich people's money and giving it to the poor people, which could possibly make everyone medium, but it only helps if all of the rich people in the world help out, like even the government people and like the Congress people. And if he's rich, even him. I mean, it's quite ridiculous, honestly, to the guy who screamed, "Have you ever been poor?" I mean, take us for example. We started off in a pretty bad spot. We ended up with a great house, a lot of money, a great big family. But it wasn't always like that, in the beginning, obviously. But yeah, seems like it's pretty much the same for him. Don't judge a book by a cover. Just because he's rich now doesn't mean he was always just handed off some family business and always had a bunch of money. 78 cents an hour.
It's crazy. It's crazy work.
Not an hour, a whole day. A whole day.
At the beginning, he was saying that the government has no responsibility, but the people have responsibility. And then he was like, the building has no responsibility, but the people do. And then he was also saying that the people, why do they go from one country to another, and why do they not give their taxes? But then they wonder why people end up poor.
You actually hit on a little bit of what I was going to hit on. And I believe in what he just said, that I don't think the government has any real responsibility in taking care of us people, right? I think it's good that we have the social safety net, and it's awesome that we do. It's because we have a great government, right? But the reality is the onus is on the individual. And Dominique, you brought up something. Um, I know when I first got that apartment, which is me, your mom, and TT was coming, and then shortly after it was me, your mom, TT, you, in that one bedroom apartment with my brother as well. So it was my brother on the couch, all of us in that one room, and it was a little tougher. Back then, before I had all the taste issues from the car accident, there were nights where we had to do laundry. We went to the laundromat, and I had enough money for laundry. Or I had some money to get some food, or maybe that night I'd only have enough money to get you guys some food, which I'd make sure I had enough for whatever the next day, right? But I was just much younger, and it is what it was. It's part of the grind. At no point did I stop in that and go, huh, if only we could tax the rich. If only we could tax the rich, and then I wouldn't. No, no, it's not what I did. What did I do? I got 3 jobs, and I worked 3 jobs, and for a stretch, it was brutal. And I barely was home, and I was making some decent money, and I never got to spend it or never got to see it. And then I talked to some of my leadership at Walmart and took a chance on Walmart, quit the other 2 jobs, and then, as you said, the rest is history. We ended up hitting some pretty high highs than that one bedroom apartment that we started in. And now, obviously, disabled. But, I have the same mindset now. I'm going to find a way to make, some currency doing something. Whatever this body's capable of doing, I plan on doing it, and I'm going to work my butt off. Right now, yeah, it's food stamps, and I am applying for disability, but also on the back end of that, I also going to say, well, I did pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes. I have the proof that I was paying a whole lot of money in taxes when I had that 6 figure. And remember, I was at work for 15 years. So 15 years worth of tax money I paid. So I do kind of feel like, I put some time in. I should get a little help right now while I'm recovering. And then once I get recovered to the point where I go out and work, then I plan on going out and work. I don't plan on looking at my fellow Americans saying it's your responsibility to take care of me because I was hurt in that accident. No, I look out for a brother now. Appreciate the help now, but I plan on getting back to the point where I'm taking care of my family, not the government. And I don't even say the government, not my fellow Americans, because it's not the government. It's the Americans out there working hard, getting taxed. That's how the social safety nets exist.